for crumble cookie?
We never talked about it, actually.
Crumble guy?
My wife and I own 2. You didn't know that?
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, let's everybody go to Crumble.
Which one?
Fairview Park, and then there's one open up in Solon in March.
I had no idea.
So go to Fairview Park, Crumble, buy as many cookies as you want.
When JB sent you.
You can tell them I sent you. You're not gonna get a discount.
When JB sent you.
Tell them I
you
sent
paid
you.
twice.
Exactly.
What's your favorite flavor?
And they change every week.
I know.
So like the consistent is the chocolate chip. Like it's my favorite. There's the chocolate chip is good. The one I just had
I had a hot chocolate one recently. That one was
where'd you buy it from?
Crumble.
Where? Which one?
Avon? I
No. That's Fairview Park.
Fairview Park.
There you go.
It was Fairview. See, I got my directions. and
Right,
stuff.
get it together. You sending people, there you go. You sending people to the wrong place. Yeah,
Basketball.
Fairview Park.
And we're open for basketball.
Okay, on a different note, what was kind of the focus of practice today, especially just coming off of last night?
Just a conversation about, what happens, end of game execution, spots where guys want to be, the difference, physicality that you're allowed to play with down the stretch. I think that's been, a learning point for us. And, how do you get open? How do you catch the ball where you want to catch the ball? Those things come, and it's just seems like it's a small thing, but there's no other way to really recreate it until you go through it with the pressure of a real game moment. So we wanted to make sure that we spent some time, trying to clean that up. The way we play, we're going to be in a lot of close games. So making sure we understand what exactly we're trying to get out of it and how we get to it, is what we were focusing on. And, we had a conversation with the guys also, just about the reality of where we are. And, I think in, all the noise and chatter, like, people forget how much this group has accomplished. Like, we're the number 1 ranked defense in the NBA still. Prior to last night, we were the 10th ranked offense in the NBA. This morning, we're 11th now, I think it is. We've got the 2nd best net rating in the NBA. There's 7 teams that have more than 30 wins in the NBA, and we're one of those teams. None of those teams, in the Eastern Conference start a 21-year-old, a 22-year-old, 23-year-old, a 24-year-old, and a 26-year-old. The teams that are ahead of us are teams, that have been weathered and been through things, that have built that. Sometimes I think people want to skip steps in getting where, we all want to go. We're not putting a roof on our guys, but, what they've accomplished at this age is above and beyond what, is standard. And I think they need to know that, and they need to appreciate it. Building a team is not easy, right? It takes some bumps, it takes some bruises, it takes some failures. Like, you learn from your biggest mistakes. If you make a mistake in execution now, right, that's how you correct it, because now moving forward how you can improve and how you can get better. Have we left some food on our plate? I think for sure. But I think that's part of growth, and that's the NBA. But, I don't like, the negativity that's surrounding the group, as if something wrong is happening. There's too many positive things that this team has accomplished to allow, any negativity around our group. Like, the guys are too good at guys. They work their tails off. And, like, individually, we have guys who are having career years. Again, as a group, like, there's 7 teams with 30-plus wins. Like, we've got a lot done in a short amount of time. And building a team, isn't easy. Like, we've had 3 games completely healthy. And I think it's, like, people get lost in the reality. But I want our guys to just understand, like, all the things that they've done. and how good a place we're in right now. And again, we're not done getting better, and we will continue to get better. You know, I'll get better. You know, players will get better. But it's always about this, right? Nobody has started from here and then just jumped to here, right? You all do this, you know. Teams take defeats, you know, in the first round of the playoffs. They come back next year, they're better. Like, that's how this thing works. Again, this is not to stunt our guys' expectation and growth, you know, but I want them to understand all the things that they have done and how positive this place is and how we are moving and trending in the right direction.
One of the things Donovan talked about last night about the thinking execution was being able to make feel and change on the fly as like things are kind of happening, and like something that, you know, maybe something that is totally seen. So how do you, I guess, replicate that of like if a team is making kind of decisions in those moments or changes, being able to react to that?
It comes to understanding what the defense is going to do, and it goes game by game, right? Miami plays pick and roll differently than Toronto, than Memphis, than, you know, the Nets, whoever it may be. But, you know, there's only so many ways that you can guard it. So understanding, you know, okay, they do this at the end of the game. My responsibility is to do this, and then everybody else around it has to give it room to breathe. And again, you know, until you're in those late game moments, that's when you see what teams do in late game. And if you don't have those experiences, you know, you're not able to learn that. I think it's a great thing for us, you know, to get those types of experiences now, learn from them, and then as the season goes on, just to continue to get better from it.
Darius was talking about the spacing late in the game last night, and same thing with Donovan. How can you, if you can, create more space without changing the personnel that's on the court at that very time?
I mean, just the spots that we have to get to. And again, you know, playing the two bigs, keeping them flat as much as you possibly can, you know, keeping their defensive bigs lower on the floor and giving those guys room at the top of the floor. You know, also being aware of what the next right play is, right? Like, we can't tell the defense where to go. So Miami in particular is very aggressive at staying at the nail and staying in the middle of the floor. So the right play is just pass the ball to the man in the slot. Now that guy has space, and that's how you create it. And, you know, it wasn't just a particular player that they were there. Like, if Donovan was off the ball in the slot, they don't care. They sell out to the nail. If it's Darius, whoever it is. So being able to put them in position where instead of trying to play in traffic, you just make the easy one over and over again. And, you know, that was part of our conversation today is like, it's okay to continually hit singles, right? The defense eventually is going to have to make an adjustment. And once the defense makes its adjustment, now you've done your job. And I think, you know, when you have extremely talented players, like, who are really creative, like, they want to push those limits. But our job is to figure out the win of that, and that's, again, part of our growth and what we're working on.
A couple of nights ago, Jetty was great, gave you such a spark off the bench. Last night you went away from him. What led to that decision?
You know, it was trying to tighten up our rotation, and then it was going for a feel of the game and matchups. You know, trying to keep, you know, guys on their, you know, Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, like, making sure that we had matchups on those guys that we liked. Again, trying to give Dean minutes. When you're giving him minutes at the 3 spot, it kind of shrinks that rotation. But, you know, we're intrigued to see what the Donovan, Darius, Dean, Evan, J.A. lineup looks like. So trying to give that enough time to see if it can work as well.
So does that mean, like, in the week moving forward, that's just going to be the reality for Jetty?
No, it's going to be again, night-by-night situation. Like, he'll always get his burn, you know, the initial burn. The guy that, you know, we feel is helping or fits that moment is the guy that's going to get to play. So, you know, he's aware. We've had the conversation with him. Like, he's got to stay ready. You know, again, we've got some things with all the healthy bodies just that we've got to figure out.
Is it the same thing with Kevin?
Yeah, at this point it is. You know, and again, it's a conversation that we've had with him. just trying to figure out, what's the right thing to do. We tried the small minutes, but to give that guys burn, and I just didn't like the way that it looked, and guys couldn't catch a rhythm. So trying to give guys bulk minutes to see if they can catch a rhythm and the groups can catch a rhythm, and then we'll figure out the best pieces around it.
How did Kevin specifically take that, given everything?
Obviously it wasn't easy for him, and again, you saw him last night. He was there and he was cheering his guys on. He was a part of it. It's not an easy conversation. It is not, and the human being in you, right? Like, it's an emotional decision because you do understand what it means to him. But we've just got to try to figure out what are the best groups that we can put out on the floor, and it's hard to play everybody.
Getting back to the positivity message from today, how much of that needs to come from you and the rest of the coaching staff versus maybe some player-led?
When you're in a position of leadership, right, the guys follow and respect what you say. And that's our responsibility as coaches, is to lead, in the direction where we want to go. As a group, you watch them, like, they're always together, they're smiling, they're enjoying themselves, they're having a good time, and they keep each other up. But, we're the ones who initially set the tone, right? If we come in here and our head's down and we're negative and, this is a miserable place, like, that's how they'll be. It'll be a miserable place. So it's our responsibility as coaches to keep the building light, keep us energized, and keep us pushing forward. Like, we're together too much. We spend too much time together to be in a place where nobody wants to come to work.
A lot of coaches talk about good. You mentioned how well you guys have played on the defensive end of the floor. A lot of coaches preach that good defense fuels offense. When you see stretches like last night where you guys are playing great defense, and 5 minutes they're not scoring on you, but it's not fueling the offense, how do you, jumpstart that so that that message resonates a little more?
Yeah, you give them credit, right? Like, you're playing against one of the best defenses in the league also. So it was going to be an ugly, knockdown, drag out type of thing. So for us, again, it's more about, do we get to our spots and execute well enough to create the shots that we want? And again, those are areas that we'll continue to improve in. Our guys understand that. As coaches, we understand it. And it's on all of us, right? This is not just about them. Like, it's on me. It's my responsibility to continue to help these guys and work on that execution and put them in the right spots. So, I take responsibility for that.
Are there specific areas that you've seen within yourself and where you can get better then?
It's a matter of making sure that I'm helping them enough, right? Like, there's things sometimes, as coaches that you take for granted, right? Like, small things of angles of screens and how, again, what the game is like at the end of the game and what you're allowed to do, right? Like, you are allowed, to be more physical late in games. You are allowed to create separation as an offensive player late in games so that you can get the ball to those spots. Working with younger guys, right? Like, they just were always better than everybody else. So they never had to do all those cheap tricks to create separation and get open. Now you're at a new level of size, speed, and athleticism, and, there's more of these that you have to use. And I think that's where, it's my responsibility to help guys be able to understand that and do it more.
Donovan has taken a whole bunch of threes and very few free throws since coming back from the groin issue. Do you sense that still being a problem for him, or defenses loading up to try and keep him out of the paint?
He's shooting threes, but there's no way Donovan Mitchell plays the game and only shoots 2 free throws, right? It happened in New York, and your friend, the 2-minute report. Like, there's no way, as aggressive as he is and as much as he's in the paint, there's no way he only shoots 2 free throws. But, in a game like last night, there is the point of, let's attack. Let's get in the paint. Let's force the defense to collapse. Let's see if we can get to the free throw line more.